Republican gubernatorial candidate Kelly Craft has been very passionate about education reform here in Kentucky. And this morning, she cast her vote here at a Lexington middle school. She says it's now time for everyone to come together under one united Republican Party to defeat the incumbent Governor Andy Beshear this November. This KKK flyer was given to me by a woman who found it in her driveway just this morning. And she told me she thinks it's a hoax because the Mount Sterling that she knows and lives in doesn't associate with the KKK. I want to point your direction to the big turnout that we have over here. The whole crowd is waiting for a big axe from Jack Harlow to Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. They haven't arrived yet, but in the meantime, we got a chance to go ahead and speak to the official artist for the 149th Kentucky Derby. Imagine walking 50 miles. Divine Karama is showing his support for kids in the bluegrass by doing just that. There were more women than men who sought help for clinical depression. Also, young adults ages 18 to 24 sought more help for depression versus adults 65 and older. It's natural for us to think that masking is going to be the safest bet to protect us against this poor air quality. But Dr. David Menino says that the tiny fine particles in the air from the wildfire are actually small enough to get through masks, so this really won't make a difference. So we checked with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife Department today and learned that since January 1st, there have been 23 drowning investigations in open water alone. That's about 4 a month, and it's not including swimming pools. 8 tons of emergency medical aid was transported by aircraft, then shipped into the country, according to the International Committee of the Red Cross. Many of the poles, like this one you see here behind me, are having to be replaced with entirely new ones because they were so badly damaged by last night's storm.
Unfortunately, for allergy sufferers, that's going to continue this week. The good news is, though, we're going to have plenty of sunshine to go along with it. So I guess just maybe take a Zyrtec and hopefully you're good to go and enjoy the good weather this week.
And a big focus came down to whether or not the officers acted in accordance with Kentucky law when returning fire as they raided Taylor's home. Kentucky's law says yes, and that is why Miles Cosgrove is returning to public service. And 2 more horses were euthanized at Churchill Downs, bringing the track's total death toll to 12 horses. The famous racetrack calling the amount of fatalities over the last 2 months highly unusual. Team Rubicon just visited 18 homes in Lexington and finished cleanup work like you saw here today in only a matter of 5 days. Southeastern Kentucky families with preemie babies can now stay closer to home for neonatal specialty care. There are many Kentuckians who have just arrived in other states impacted by severe weather. The Richmond Little League said that they spoke with the city manager, and after surveying Marshall Field and deeming it safe, the ball game is now set to start at 7 p.m. Reporting in Richmond, I'm Danielle Miskell, Fox 56 News. Yes, Andrea, so something interesting to note between the bar and grill and the home that Xing Shang invaded. Both women that I spoke to at each place told me that when they encountered this shooter, his demeanor was calm.
Let's start from the beginning. Stephen Xiangsheng appeared as our Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week 5 days ago, accused of stealing expensive lawn equipment from people's homes and pawning them off up in Covington and Cincinnati. That's what led Deputy Caleb Conley to conduct a traffic stop in Georgetown, where Xiangsheng shot him and fled, stealing a car from a Georgetown home. Some 15 minutes down I-75, he came here to Rose and Jim's Bar and Grill, where he shot his second victim, David D. Leonardo.
I heard somebody yelling, help, help, and I looked out and it was Dave. Cops told us to stay inside, and my main thing was I wanted to help David at the same time, but he had somebody, so I wanted to get in the house. Yes, I was afraid I was going to get shot.
Jessica Arnold is D. Leonardo's neighbor, and she says she saw D. Leonardo holding his side on the ground.
They hit him in his side twice, and it come out through his back, kidneys. Yeah, he's in ICU still. He's stable, but he's not out of ICU yet.
She also saw Xiangsheng and noticed something odd.
But as calm as he could be. Walking just slow, not just getting the cooler and running, you know. Like somebody, yeah, he just gets cool and walked normal, put it in the car and took off.
Xiangsheng escaped in D. Leonardo's Ford Bronco and headed down into Lexington. About 8 minutes away, he came to this residence at 860 Charles Avenue, where Marcia Taylor was inside with her fiancé taking a nap.
The gunshot woke us up.
And then she came out to find Xiangsheng inside her home trying to hide from the police. He came in through their door they left open to keep the house cool.
I said, you need mean, go. We can get on out of here. Go. Just go. Don't go out. Don't just hands up like, hey, give up because you're surrounded.
She also noticed he was calm.
He's just walking through the hallway, through the living room, through the kitchen, back through the hallway, just like back and forth like he didn't care.
Taylor said Xiangsheng wasn't alone. A woman was apparently with him. He claims it was his wife.
Blonde hair and glasses, but she was crying and everything.
Taylor and her fiance came out of the house, followed by the woman with Xiangsheng, and then he was arrested. Taylor heard of the Scott County deputy sheriff being shot, but didn't know that killer was now inside her home.
Yeah, it was real scary. He could have killed us.
And I'm here now at the Fayette County Detention Center where Xiangsheng is being held. I requested to interview him this morning, but he declined my request. He's going to be arraigned tomorrow at 1 p.m. and he is facing 5 charges here in Fayette County. He's facing an additional 6 charges in Scott County, and that includes murder of a police officer. Live in Lexington, I'm Danielle Miskell, Fox 56 News. Yeah, so in this next year, the Jessamine County Homeless Coalition plans to open its new center off of Main Street. It has owned an additional piece of property off Broadway that it was going to build transitional housing on, but decided to sell it because it needed more funding for the main center. But when a potential buyer tested the soil, it uncovered not only a list of toxic chemicals, but a history that the Homeless Coalition believes the city should take responsibility for. There's lush grass covering this plot and also covering something up.
Unfortunately, the land includes extremely high levels of arsenic and lead.
Literally 8 times the federal EPA limit.
The Jessamine County Homeless Coalition started to do some digging to find out where this contamination could have come from.
And then in our investigation, we found out that this location was used as a dump by the city of Nicholasville. And at some point, I guess they covered it up and then sold it to the Board of Education, who built a school and operated a school here for several decades.
John Reynolds says the school building was eventually demolished and the land wasn't purchased again until 2019 by the Homeless Coalition. At the time, no one from the city warned them of the contaminated soil. Now they're asking the city to buy back the land and take responsibility for cleaning it up.
Fortunately, that fell on deaf ears. We went to the city council and spoke to the mayor and some of the council members and said, hey, this is a community problem. We need help. We need your resources. We need guidance on how to deal with this.
Johnny Templin showed me one of the holes the Environmental Protection Agency dug up to test the soil and where they made another discovery.
They got so high that the EPA guys said they could tell that they did a controlled burn because the way the elements had been smashed down and broken down, like bottles reformed and everything else like that, and then put topsoil on top of it and did it again.
Templin believes if the city tore the school building down, then it knew of the contamination it caused. He wants the city to buy the land back at its fair market value of $275,000 and treat the soil to prevent health issues to the neighborhood around it.
They can remediate the property, and as they told us, there's funds available at Frankfurt with the state. They can reimburse them for that sort of that toxic waste removal. But that's something that the Homeless Coalition is just not able to do.
This literally, not completing the cell, could dismantle the future operation of the Center for Growth and Hope.
And in a statement, Mayor Alex Carter said the city is deferring to the environmental cabinet on the investigation and if a remediation is necessary. The two sides will meet again this Friday to go over environmental reports. And in the meantime, the Jessamine County Homeless Coalition is looking to the public for more information on the history of the land to help with the investigation. I'm Danielle Miskell. Marvin and Andrea, back to you.